This is a beautiful, beautiful boat. Well loved, and as we've seen, well taken care of. Oh, golly. This boat's gonna love a reach. She's gonna love to crack her sheets and lay over about 10, 15 degrees and take off like a scared rabbit. Hi there, this is Captain Q and my old sailing buddy Randy. Join us as we travel hither and yon as we look for some great deals on classic boats and learn a little with each one. Randy, what are you doing over there?
Hey, Captain. I was just
Yeah.
scouting a little bowsprit.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I asked you to come down here today to take a look at another wooden boat. Now, this boat right here with a beautiful bowsprit, which I know you've been admiring.
I could sit on that and get some waves on a nice summer day.
You could, and probably the third wave, we'd be the last time we'd see you. Boom, you go to the side. But truth of the matter is, this is all wrapped up, so let's look at one that's unwrapped, okay?
Oh, that's not it. That's not
Follow
the one.
me over, all the way over here,
Ah.
and just cast your camera's eye on that bowsprit,
That's even better.
and take a sweep down her deck here. Designed by Bud Macintosh and built in the Brooklyn Boatyard, Maine by Joel White.
Oh, I've heard that. We've heard that name before.
We have heard that name before. Joel White also designed the Haven, which is the redo of the Herreshoff 12.5. I've got to go back to a man named William Hart. William Hart was born in Paisley, Scotland in 1823. In 1831, his family emigrated to the United States and they ended up settling in Albany. He started painting designs on carriages back then, little country settings and so forth to decorate them. And he had a mentor that helped teach him the fine arts of painting. His work, which is now in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Boston Fine Arts Museum, is spectacular. We've talked about progeny.
Yeah.
He had a daughter named Jessie Hart, and Jessie married a man named White, and she has a son named E.B. White.
Ah.
Have we heard that name before?
Yeah, Charlotte's Web.
E.B. White has a son named Joel White. Joel White became a naval architect and a boat builder in Brooklyn, Maine, and so you put together Joel White heritage with a Bud Macintosh design, you're going to end up with something really lovely. And that's what we're here today to take a look at. 42 feet of wooden center cockpit yawl. I think she's about as pretty as you can imagine.
Yeah. Two masts.
While you're standing there, just look at the hull. We usually get these boats out of the water, but casual appearance, and even when I walked up to it, thought, wait a minute, I thought this was a wooden boat. It looks fiberglass. That's an incredible finish on this hull. I think below, and this is going to be a guess because Bud's drawings tended to be cutaway forward into a full keel with an attached rudder. Nothing crazy, just a good solid boat. Now this boat was originally built for a couple in Maine who wanted to cruise New England, and then they wanted to sail over to Norway, I think, and back, which they did. The present owner has had her now for 15 years, and stewardship is important with a wooden boat, and he's done a great job of maintaining this boat. Every boat has a bilge of some sort. Some are very deep, some are really impossible to get to. Over time, they will all collect soot from the engine, pieces of rubber from fan belts, antifreeze, grease, slime. Some boats even empty their showers into the bilge. What a horrible thing. There's a brand new product that our friends at Un-Duz-It sent us that we have not seen before. It's brand new. It's a product called Un-Duz-It Bilge Cleaner. And this is biodegradable. It's chlorine-free, and it's phosphate-free, ammonia-free. We like that.
Kind of like all their other products.
It's like all their products are all that way. They're very safe to use, and we've jokingly said you can almost drink it, but don't. What I'd like to do, I'd like to give Un-Duz-It Bilge Cleaner a try on your bilge.
That would be great.
Well, it's really simple. All you have to do is you pour in X amount, they say about 32 ounces, and this is about a 32-ounce bottle. So you could dump this whole bottle into your bilge and then add a couple of gallons of water, and then you know what you get to do?
Go for a sail?
Exactly. You go sailing, and the stuff just sloshes around your bilge. They suggest leaving it in for a minimum of about a half an hour, and you pump it all out. It has an enzyme action to it that will chew up a lot of that stuff and neutralize it in many ways. Let's give it a try.
Let's see it in action.
I'm just spritzing some of this on the bilge right now. I'm going to pour the rest of it down into the bilge.
Can you do anything about this wiring?
Yeah.
Does it have a wiring cleaner?
This is your project for the weekend.
Oh my God.
Goes right into the bilge. Look at that. I'm going to spritz around a little bit here.
Not bad, not bad.
Look at that. A couple gallons of water. You can tell this is to give it a little sloshing action, right?
Let's simulate a little bit of sailing and then we'll come back.
I think we've just improved your bilge considerably. And the stuff just came off. Look how bright it is already. And this is not an easy bilge to get to.
Kind of over there.
Oh yeah. It looks like fresh paint on there.
This is pretty remarkable.
That is spectacular. Yeah, it really looks great. I think Un-Duz-It's got a good product here. What do you think?
I think it's pretty great. How do I get this?
If you would like to get some of it, just click the link in the description below the video, right down there. I'm just looking right now at the sail track for the Genoa or anything else you want to put on here. This is before people got into doing a lot of the perforated rails. That's a 1-inch wide track by an 1/8 or so. It goes right up to the forward shrouds. That's really unusual. I've never seen one quite run that long. Just take a look up at the spar. She's a double spreader rig, and it's aluminum spars, both the main and the mizzen, and they're both stepped on deck. Randy, what do you say we take a closer look at the whole deck layout here, hey?
Yeah, let's do it.
Randy, come on aboard, buddy.
Captain, see, you're missing your favorite thing here.
Oh, my wheel. I know. They knew I was coming aboard. They said, don't leave that wheel on because Captain Q may take off. This boat's in the water. Golly, I've sailed on a couple of nice wooden boats in my life, and there's something about being in this boat and feeling the boat, how she just sits in the water. It's a very different feeling. It's a heavy, solid feeling of a boat just ready to go, and she's strong. Look at the size of this drain here. That's about a 3-inch drain, and there's 2 of them, one on either side. I see a couple little fiddles along the side here. I'd like to know more about those, but I wouldn't doubt maybe somebody's fitted up to put a sleeping plank across here. The boat was built in '74. She's got modern gear here for the wheel and so forth. And look at that nice Ritchie compass and binnacle. Got a multitasking space here with trip and speed and depth, all that, and all rolled into one. We have our apparent wind indicator from Raytheon and a Simrad for your autopilot. And of course the GPS. There is radar on the boat. You can see it right above us.
Look at that.
There's a Ray Marine radar and also I don't know if they still call that a Foredeck blipper. It is for the sighting so that other boats can sight you more readily. Look at the Traveler back here. Nothing terribly fancy about it, about as basic as you can get. Immovable. That thing's probably bolted to the keel somewhere down below. And just a simple little shackle running back and forth. Not a lot of super adjustment because we're not racing. A nice big handhold here on the Edson pedestal. She has dual controls for the gears here, forward and reverse, and also for your throttle on the starboard side. Moving aft, we have to string ourselves through the mizzen shrouds. That's often just a little bit of an issue with a yawl, but certainly not a deal breaker.
Is she a yawl or a ketch?
This is a yawl. Wait a minute. No, she's a ketch.
Because that's the rudder stock,
Oh, she's a ketch. I'm going to go ketch. Yeah, you're right. Here's the end of the rudder stock, and that's what you would put your spare tiller on in case something happens to the chain system in the boat. Little bed back here, probably for a life raft. That's why I would put one on this boat. And there's a nicely polished locker here for dock lines and so forth.
Nice and handy.
Look at that block. That's an old South Coast or Merriman block, and it's been varnished within an inch of its life. Yaw rig. This is not the mizzen boom, by the way. This is going to support part of the shrink wrap that they're going to do on the boat.
Where do you stand on nude teak versus varnished teak?
Well, on a boat like this, it works very well visually, having the unvarnished teak. Okay. Again, less maintenance. Let's face it. Varnish is lovely. I think if you had a paid hand on board, I'd go varnish all day long. This is a nice, comfortable seat back here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't you sit back here and just picture the boat sliding along and watching the the bubbles in the wake.
Oh, yeah.
And at night, the effervescence from your wake. Oh, is that lovely?
That's magic.
What do you say we take a walk around the deck? What do you think?
Yeah, let's go check it out.
We've got really nice wide decks. There are lifelines on this boat, but they've been taken off for the winter. If you look carefully here, you'll see the base for a stanchion, and there's a piece of wood on that that's holding off a standoff, and the standoff is to keep the shrink wrap away from this beautiful paint job. Look at this nice long rail here. That's a beautiful piece. That's, oh my gosh, you know something, Randy? That's all one piece of wood right there. Look at that.
Wow.
Good standing rigging wire. And it's all in a swedge fitting. These aren't Norseman fittings, it's swedge. That's where they put the wire down inside this tube, and then the machine grabs it and squeezes the heck out of it, so it embeds this wire right into the interior of that. We've got very nice here Dorade boxes, and they actually have the running lights right on the side up high here. And that's kind of not unusual. That's sort of an old boat thing. They used to carry them up actually in the rigging, and they would have a piece sitting up here like so with a running light outboard of that so that people far away could see it. We have a traveler up here for the staysail boom, and again, this is just another very solid bronze rod there, bent at each end, and again it's bolted probably to the keel. Coming forward, you can see the staysail boom right here, and it's aluminum as well, and it's pretty lightweight. And they just have it hung right on the rigging aft there. You've just seen that. Just keep it out of the way for the moment. But that's on a pivot point up here on this little stay right like so. And that will allow it to twist, go either way or go up and down. So you have plenty of motion in that staysail boom. And if you look forward, beyond your favorite
I'm heading out there.
gangplank there.
Okay.
There's a nice roller furler system from Furlex, and there's two bow rollers up there. One has at least a 35-pound CQR on it. Nice deck cleats back here with just basic fairlead chocks right up on either side of the bowsprit. Another piece back here. This is a massive, almost it could be a towing pin there. And we've got a windlass up here, an ideal electric windlass. And there's a second one too. Look at the wide decks. Look how pleasant this boat is. There's just a pleasant feeling to it. This boat also has a nice dodger. You can see the pins for it on the top of the cabin right aft here that run right across the top of the deck. We'll take a nice fitted dodger, and here's the bars and the support system for it right here. I found the bilge pump, Randy.
Ah, there we go.
And you like bilge pumps, don't you? But
well, I like my captain to do a little bicep work.
The captain's going to have to be on probably a port tack,
yep,
sitting down here, and he can just pump it over on the side there. Randy, what do you say we go below?
Yeah, let's do it.
Randy!
Yeah!
Come on down, pal, listen.
Oh, thanks.
Now hesitate in the companion, just hesitate for a minute there,
okay,
because I want you to just let your senses take this all in. Smell the wood.
It smells kind of sweet.
Yes, this is what wooden boats smell like. Look at the length of the carry on the berth here.
Super deep, yeah.
And with a little bit of a bump here to keep you on board if you're sailing along, and super wide. This is almost a double.
Do you have a table here?
Well, I thought you'd never ask. I don't see one.
I see some holes.
But there are holes in the floor. There's some sort of rig, and the table may have been removed for varnishing. I'm right here beside a nice propane gas heater, and we had one of these on the PB, and that was a cooker. And I'm sitting right beside a really wonderful library, complete with bungee cords to keep things in place. And look at the beams on the cabin overhead here. It's just a rich feeling being down here. Look below at the cabin sole here.
Yeah, it's a little different, right?
Yeah, it's unvarnished, and you were curious about that earlier, what I thought about it, and I like it because, first of all, it looks like real boaty stuff. I mean, I feel like I'm on a really boaty boat that's going to go to Europe and back again, and this is going to stay dry, so to speak. Wet varnish, that shiny varnish on the teak and holly is gorgeous sitting at the dock, but if it gets wet and you're underfoot, and let's say you don't get your topsiders on in time, you can shoot across the cabin.
So if you own this, would you leave it natural?
I would leave it I wouldn't touch a thing. I wouldn't touch a thing on this boat. Let's take a look back here at the galley. Why do they have a sliding ladder?
Oh, that's a different one.
See?
Yeah.
So they put the companionway over that way. When you don't need to get back that direction, you now have more counter space to work on. And there's a little plaque here that will tell you this boat was built in the Brooklyn boat yard. Nice glass storage. Nice plastic glass storage.
The crystal.
Right. And a little trim. Look at the little trim pieces under here. Look at that little. That's just a nice little touch there of tile work. Okay. And again, a nice big workspace. Over here we have the ice chest. In this case, we have ice and some refrigeration as well. And
looks like a little present.
And of course, we have food storage locker always. Tons of storage stuff for everything you possibly need. And even if you need a spare pair of boat shoes. Always little mysteries on some of these boats from time to time. We have what looks like a bilge pump here. And it could be a bilge pump. It's a pretty heavy duty pump. And I don't know what we're pumping out right now. If we're pumping water out of a bilge or out of an ice box or whatever. But it's an interesting installation. I'd like to know more about it. Look at this old hand pump. This is so cool, these things. That's just an old-fashioned hand pump.
Charm.
For a backup for your water supply. Here's your hot and cold water temperature, and two big sinks. Nice spice rack in the corner. Look at that. They're kind of all a jumble there, but they're not going anywhere when the boat heels over. And again, a nice rack for easy reaching stuff. In front of me, we have a nice 3-burner propane stove.
Do those little tongs have a name?
They're called little tongs. Do you know what they're for?
I do, but yeah, let me see a demo.
Okay, well, what they are is if your boat's moving around, sliding around, you take your pot and you put it right in place. Now, this could still slide a little bit, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So you have these tongs which are set up. It's got a friction bite over here, and you just move the tong over. That's not going to go anywhere now. It's now anchored. So even when the boat, gimbals, it's just not going anywhere in particular. These drawers all screwed and fastened together. And storage, miscellaneous storage, wherever they can put it. Now, they've wedged into the corner a nav station. Now, trying to fit a nav station in here can be a little tricky, so they've devised this rig. They've got this big metal bronze casting back here, and you pick it up and set it out, and then drop it down. It's a little noisy that way, and then the captain can sit with his butt on this rotating seat. And I've got room for the normal chart book right here. I'll be happy. Here we got a single sideband mount. You found the back end of it in the engine room there. And we have, here's a little piece of antiquity here. This is a little CD player. Garmin. So yeah. There was a GPS that lives there. And it's very tidy. And look at the tools and everything sitting right down in their own little nest. Whole nice panel over here of circuit breakers. Oh yeah. Massive storage drawers. And you've always got to look in these drawers to find handles like this. You know what this is for? Can you see that?
Probably a filler cap.
That's going to take a filler cap up on deck to open up a water tank or a fuel tank. Now, one of the reasons for this slider here is access to the front section of your motor. And you know what we can do too is we can lift up, let me show you this, to, there we go. Now, is there a catch anywhere?
There's this.
There, on this side.
All right.
Now, Randy, we've just lifted up the ladder that we slid over for access to this cleaning area. Now, look at that for access to the engine. This may be an award winner we have here for engine access.
I can see a lot of stuff right here.
Look way down into the deep bilge too there. You see the bilge pump? And it's a pretty clean bilge, wooden bilge. It reminds me of the Mickey Finn. Remember how neat she was and dry she was for an older wooden boat? Now there's more engine. Randy, you want to follow me in here? Well, Randy, now you're walking into a little midships engine room.
It's all right here.
It's a little Volvo Penta engine. I think it's 25 or 30 horse, not very big. And she only carries about 30 gallons of fuel. We've got a Raycor filter up here right in the bulkhead.
I'm going to guess that's antifreeze.
Yes, that's probably your expansion tank. Good eye. And look at the silver piece over behind there. Nice big hot water tank. That's a massive bilge water pump. And why it's located below here like this, I'm not certain. There's some storage for tools, fuel filters, funnels, and your batteries. I want to show you something that's really pretty cool. We've seen boats with aft cabins, right? Now this is only 42 feet, and I found an aft cabin which has got a multiple use aspect to it. And I'd like to invite you to come on down. It's a wonderful little sitting cabin with some great long berths. There's a trick cushion here. I haven't quite figured out yet where this goes, but it's going to allow you to have a double berth down here as well. And also, the nice thing about these berths that I'm sitting on are about 10 feet long. Look what we have access to. All your steering gear is right here, right in front of you. This is probably one of the most important pieces of equipment on the boat, isn't it?
Yep.
And you can check the tension on your cables. You can see the hydraulic ram for the autopilot right here. Also right beside you there, you'll see all the engine controls which are accessible to the helmsman. And we have 3 opening port lights here all around the cabins. Look at the size of this. This is like a warehouse you could have for food, extra lines, extra sails, extra gear. This great big post right here you notice in front of me, that's what keeps the mizzen mast straight up and down. That's called a compression post, and it's shot right down to the keel. This is a really cool unit. This is a Ferris Products generator. It'll put out 140 amps of power, and it only uses a pint an hour. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
And it's tucked away back here in this micro cabin that we're in, and it's pretty interesting. I've heard of these, but I've never seen one. And above me here, Randy, we have our handle. I gotta get up. I need all the help I can get. Now we'll walk forward. You can see the hull starting to come in down here, and our footwell is down low. They didn't try to carry it out to the higher part. If they did, we would have lost all our headroom. And what do we have for headroom?
Oh, really good.
Look at that.
6'5".
Something like that. I'm walking right past the hanging locker here, and I'm going to call this the owner's stateroom. Because you have a big hanging locker, you have a nice head right here. What do you think about that head? Tell me what you see.
Really big. The hopper is fore and aft.
Why do we like the hopper fore and aft?
So if you hit a wave, you don't get thrown off.
Exactly. No mirror?
No mirror.
Don't worry, Randy. I know that concerns you. So we put it out here. Here I am up in the V-berth, and it's got a separate little filler piece here too that'll come back right to this bulkhead behind me, and you're gonna have a really nice berth. And there's storage up here with simple bungee cords to keep your clothes in place. And we have drawers. Look at the ceilings in here. They're all painted. There's no water stains. There's no issues.
Are you gonna?
And a lot of fresh air here.
We're gonna see this in action.
Do you think I should try this?
I think so.
This is really nice. Look at 2 opening ports here. A lot of breeze is going to flow through this boat sitting on a mooring or at your anchor, and a nice, 3 square feet of hatch up here. And I love looking up at the woodwork. And we've got a screen that's hung up right above my feet here. See that? That's going to go in the hatch, but right now it's stowed.
I can see what's coming on here.
I think it's already come on.
All right.
Wow. Today we got a chance to look at another Bud Macintosh design, and one that was brought to us by Charlotte's Web. It's a piece of traditional boating, and for anybody that has ever sailed on a wooden boat, they would love this boat, because you go below and you're surrounded by woods, by beams, by ceilings, and all sorts of just neat stuff. This boat has been well loved, and as we've seen, well taken care of. This is a beautiful, beautiful boat. We should give this boat a rating. What do you think?
Yeah, it's about that time.
We can see that she's floating. How much fun would it be to sit in that after cabin and read to your kids as they're starry-eyed the story of Charlotte's Web? We're going to give it a 10 for Charlotte's Web. We're going to give it a 10 for great designer, great builder. And another 5 because it's just a darn pretty boat.
You're out of control. 35?
35 today for a wood boat, and you better do it quickly because I think they're starting to line up for this particular boat. I thank you all for watching today. That's what we could call some boat.
If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. We're having too good a time doing these things, so you can hit the bell or not.
Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes. A little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.